been there since almost the inception.
Guide I, it's the voice that sets me free.
I just me I tune into because, I always even watch some of that television and stuff, and that's a festival for later. I have to really listen to you first, you know what I mean?
How ma one one ma chikumbachna Africa da fabachna kidafanya kidafarafet one ma chikiwundu kidafarundu one yandeke sawai kidafarundu one ma chikiwundu kidafarundu dafnen rafet yon wentamenda ingama dafnen rafet yon wentamenda ingara dafnen rafet yon wentamenda ingara. Did you know that's a richer Africa? Did you know that's a richer Africa? Did you know? Said the whole world love it. Did you know? Said the whole world love it. Be proud of your culture. Be proud of that what you got. Be proud.
Jambo, vipi, karibuni katika kipindi cha Doc. Iman Blak, kipindi chaitwa Metamorphosis. Jifundishe, elimika na mwelimika.
Conquering Lion of Judah.
And the basic needs for them to stay alive makes it so critical. See, good Father, come down and pour out your heart. Have mercy on the weak in spirit and the poor in heart. Deliver them quick before them get caught in false rituals. Ooh, conquering Lion of Judah. Kingdom come now, yeah, Lord. Yeah, come now. The conquering Lion is here to break every chain and give I the victory again. And constantly making us your victims, and you show no love for the poor, applying pressure more and more, never care for the people's concern. So in a flames and fire you will burn, cause you're coming with a new day, terrible to man and pagan. None can escape when your fire starts to kindle and the earth starts shake. The conquering Lion is here
song I sing you, the fire within you, the struggle continue. Let's just begin you. We got to win you, prosecute and trim you, still praise the king you. Got to be bold and brave, they call you. Settle us, they call you. Peace slave, now look at you. With the length of days, give praise. Fire of the blaze. Africa prepare, cause I'm coming home. Black man prepare, cause we going home. Africa prepare, I and I coming home. People prepare, cause you're going home. No equal rights, no justice, no schools, no jobs.
Metamorphosis.
Metamorphosis. Get up to blow and me public. Babylon can't touch this. Look to the east for the crowning of your king. That's the way you are should go. Best most I ever live in God a place. And I'm living in a by flow. Africa prepare, cause I'm coming home. Black man prepare, cause we going home. Africa prepare, I and I coming home. People prepare, cause you're going home. That's right.
From Africa, with the intention to steal our culture, the good for the past by instead. Humble yourself, my children. Humble yourself, my little one. Humble yourself. Oh, my brother,
News emerged this week that the Pope, the Pontiff, who leads the worldwide 1.3 billion strong church, had given his approval for a change in the translation to a part of the most widely known prayer in Christianity. I repeat, news has emerged this week that the Pontiff, Pope Francis, who leads the worldwide 1.3 billion strong Catholic Church, had given his approval for a change in the translation to a part of the most widely known prayer in Christianity. What is the most widely known prayer in Christianity that the Pope has given approval for a change? Christian people, which is the most widely known prayer that they gave us?
chant down a Babylon, chant down Babylon, chant down a Babylon, chant down Babylon. Give thanks and praise, give thanks and praise.
Tinastilin, greetings. Giving thanks and praises. For what? Life, they say, I am saying health. We have to move beyond just having life. We need health. We need healthy life. Because being sick is no cause for celebration. The flea has life. The cat and the dog have life. The mosquito have life. I don't want to just have life. I want to have health, and I want to have a quality life. So we give thanks for health. That sets the foundation for a quality life. We have to lift the meditation above the suffering and begin to think within the consciousness of our divine being. Metamorphosis here, Dr. Iman Blak, your host. Greetings, welcoming all those who are first timers, and I healing all those who are on the journey. It's about revelation. But revelation is not that of a writing in a book. It's the reading, the writing that is within, that are inscribed on the tablets of consciousness. They call it the mind. So hail ones and ones. And before we kind of move into the critical aspects of the reasoning, we begin on a celebratory note. Though people may be feeling a sense of defeat, and we'll have to celebrate the reggae girls, and they're showing at the highest level of football in the world. And there are persons who don't understand what it is to be at the highest stage of world football. And so if once I was listening, given my perspective on the group, I was suggesting to the listeners that the Brazilian team should win the group, and the reggae girls should be fighting for second place to qualify to the second round. And as long as we weren't embarrassed and humiliated in the first round against the Brazilians, we have a very good opportunity to find a draw against the Italians, giving the team a point and a shot at the final round match. So I just want to say hail up to all those who overstand the journey. I want to also recognize those who realize that football in Jamaica now on the island is really has been under suppression and oppression, just like all other institutions where black people try to find a way to free themselves from economic poverty. In other words, the planter class and the moneyed class in Jamaica looks at sport as a site of promotion. And what they do is promote their goods and services to the population, but they have yet to grasp the concept of development. And there's no way in the scope of the planning of the people in Jamaica at the leadership level, there's never a plan for the development of football. It's always promotion. And promotion is like you put on a dance, you promote a dance, you promote a session, but you're not developing the thing because you're not putting in any infrastructure. And so this is the same problem from 98 with the boys. And we come around to 2019 and the girls are now at the World Cup and the situation has not changed. So we have to look at what is standstill in Jamaica. Why certain things stand still and yet there is struggle for leadership. So within the context of that struggle for leadership now, we also heard that on the Jamaican horizon there's a struggle within the political arena now. And this is the feed forward now from the defeat in East Portland. Eastern Portland was a critical barometer for the political directorate and the opposition. And the response to the defeat in Portland has caused a rupture now in the party, and there's now a challenge for leadership. Peter 1 versus Peter 2. And we hear more about that as we go through. But the essence of this reasoning really now was want to deal with identity as usual. And we're asking the question before we go deeper. Which identity that you hold is the most important and critical identity in your life? Which identity? Because we have several identities. For example, is it your racial identity? Is it your sexuality? Is it your religious identity? Is it your political identity? Is it your cultural identity? Which identity you as an individual would die for and would live and would not surrender certain principles within that identity? I want each individual to run that through their own brain and in your own self, in your own consciousness, which identity you would defend to the death. Is it the racial identity? Is it your gender? Is it your political identity? Is it your religious identity? Is it your cultural identity? Which one stands out up front? And you're not going in no negotiation as it relates to that aspect of your identity. Which one is it? We're going to speak about that. And we're going to deal with what the Pope has opened a door for I and I to enter and to examine things that they have given to us from the last 2,000 years. Things that the Catholic Church, things that the Bible have been telling us. Now we're in a situation where we can begin to examine, and we shall in this metamorphosis.
Traveling more than 2,000 miles, more than 2,000 miles. Can't get no shady tree to race, can't get no shady tree to race. The sun so red hot, hotter than hot. Let me tell you, this is the song we were singing, coming along, oh yes, coming along, oh yes, coming along, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Wappa to the why, to the wap wap why, you wappa to the why, to the wap wap why, you wappa to the why, to the wap wap why. This is the song we were singing. Coming along, coming along. Wappa to the wide, wappa to the wide, wappa to the wide, wappa to the wide, wappa to the wide. We've been traveling, wappa to the wide. More than 2,000 miles, wappa to the wide. Can't get no shady tree, wappa to the wide. Race our head, wappa to the wide, wappa to the wide. The sun so red hot, wappa to the wide. Hotter than hot, wappa to the wide. Let me, wappa to the wide. This is the song we were singing. Wappa to the wide. Coming along, 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 along. Wappa to the wide. Wappa to the wide.
All right, Metamorphosis here, Dr. Iman Blak and Engineer Cassidy. We're going to hold it for the next few hours, our dears. Now, I really want to speak to some things that is deep within the psyche of the people of African descent, they call it. Something that has been embedded over centuries. Something that we don't think about anymore, just like how we don't think about our breathing until we're having difficulty. Suddenly we're aware that we're short of breath and breathing is important. But other than that, we just breathe and we go through. So for the last 2,000 years and therefore and that about, I and I as a oppressed people been given certain things to recite. And in that recitation it becomes memory, and memory becomes fixed. And then after a while we don't even know where the memory came from, but we just go to it when we think it's necessary. Now, Christianity as a driving, controlling force within the colonization process. I mean, we know that this force permeates the earth in all various societies. And as black people, we have had our experiences with religions invading the continent. And our first experience, that is recorded, was really with Islam. And the brutality of Islam is documented in places where that information is widespread. And in the West, we're denied that information up front. And because we are more within the Christian sphere, we know more about the Christian invasion. A lot of people think and try to defend Christianity by saying it was in Africa before the Europeans came. That is irrelevant, because the ideology of domination along the lines of race is what the Europeans brought to Christianity. And we have to think about control and domination when we speak about religion. And there are methods of control. Now, when we as a people in this Western section begin to speak about history, we usually have to go to the school system to find dates to record certain events. And most of the education in the Caribbean and this section of the world tries to give you the feeling that the world really began in the 1500s. In the 1400s, when the white people began to search beyond their borders. And so we are introduced to world history now through the lens of the Europeans, and we think that the Columbus project is really the beginning of the history of black people. So most of the youth of the Caribbean will tell you about 1494 and 1492 as a starting point in their brain for history. They really can't tell you about something that happened in the 1200s, or even in the year 400, or even before the Christian era. The point I really want to get at now is the process that we have been undergoing for the last two centuries. And the process, I'm saying now, has been led by Rome, the Roman Empire. And if we begin to look at our story with the invasion of the Roman Empire into Egypt, and from that moment to this time, what has happened to us in our brain? What has been the propaganda like? What has been the teachings? And one of the things that we get earliest out of the church are prayers. Prayers to recite, prayers to meditate on. And as I was suggesting to the item earlier, if you begin to check out what is the most widely popular prayer in Christianity, it is a prayer that is called the Lord's Prayer. Now, as I said to the item, enough of we just get these things and run with it, we don't put it down and reflect. But the Lord's Prayer is a serious prayer. And we only recite it at full speed without checking what each line means. Well, it's quite a while once and once been looking at that prayer. And I think our most raucous, okay, let me not use that word, the most vociferous expression we have heard in Jamaica through the media is really coming out of our Rastafarian community and coming really from our artist and our poet, Muta Baruka. I'm going to have a little poetry song where I speak about the Lord's Prayer. And in that prayer, he raised a question that many people raise, that even the Pope now has raised, which is what I'm thinking, making the whole thing very interesting. The Lord's Prayer. What does the Lord's Prayer say? It's something, it's in your brain, you know. It's something that maybe you don't remember it word for word, but I bet you say when I started, everything will fall into place. The Lord's Prayer now is coming out of the New Testament. Historically, it's coming from the New Testament, out of the Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and these guys now with themselves were disciples. And this prayer now begins like this. It says, Our Father, who art in heaven. I think everybody know the line there. Every slave had to know that line. What does the rest of the prayer say? It says, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. When I was a youth, I couldn't figure out what hallowed means, you know. Hallowed also sounded hollow. But then when you say hallowed be thy name means you're trying to say glory to your name. It says, Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also are forgiven our debtors. Now, here comes the line now that is causing eruption. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Now, everybody, may I tell you, everybody in the Western world, black people, this program has been programmed into your brain. And I'm saying 99% of the ones who get this program never reflect on what this thing is saying. You want to start from the front? Our Father, who is in heaven. And I put on my Facebook page, where is our mother? Our Father, who art in heaven, where is our mother? And for the first time, you have to begin to perhaps check out the gender issue now. Where for 2,000 years, this prayer of us focusing on a concept of a father. That everybody get up and say, yes, Father. And yeah, man, Father would do this, and Father would do that. And everything is the Father now. And we don't even over what the concept of the Father is. And then where is the concept of the mother? So it's a prayer that the Christians then present to I and I as the Lord's Prayer. Then we have to ask the question about what is the Lord? Who is the Lord and what is the Lord? And how long has this Lord been over the people? Is it the same Lord that we are living in the year of our Lord? What is the nature of this Lord? I am saying the Pope now, in his wisdom, realize, he must hear what come out of Jamaica, say, man only lick out against the prayer, say, how could God lead us into temptation? How could the Father lead people into, why are we asking the Father to lead us not into temptation? Is it something that the Father does all the time? That we have to ask him not to lead us into temptation? And the Pope now is the vicar of the Christ, you know. I soon describe to the item exactly what the Pope is. But you see him now, Francis decides that him don't like that prayer there. Him don't like that part there either. And Francis decided to change it. So now the Catholic Church, under the power of the Pope, is changing the Lord's Prayer, the wording. Now I am saying that this is fantastic, because the way them program and everything is that nothing can change, because it's set by the Creator. But who is this Lord that Pope Francis now can tell you, say, him saying don't like the phrase lead us into temptation. Him wanted to become now, do not let us fall into temptation. Because him says that's a good translation, because it speaks of a God who is devilous. So it's long time I know that there's a problem in the teaching, you know. And when the Pope of Rome, and we're soon going to who is Rome and who is the Pope, what the symbol of Pope is on the earth. And for the people who believe in Jesus the Christ as the Lord, that the teachings of the Bible and the Christian world converts and concocts that the vicar of Christ is the Pope. Vicar means earthly representation, is the Pope. I want to look into some of these things because I just throw them out before we get into the specifics. But it should be mind-boggling for I and I to look into something like the Lord's Prayer. A prayer that has been established as the oldest and the most established prayer in Christianity. And yet we can find that a man can change the meaning of the words, which means many more things before could have been changed. And a lot of what we have been reading, simply, we could proclaim that it's false. It has been tampered with. The Pope is opening up the doors, This Pope Francis is letting in everything and letting everything out. And black people must use this opportunity to free themselves from those type of teachings. Our Father, is it the Father of the black people? Because the Chinaman does not pray to our Father. And the Indian does not pray to our Father. So who is that Father that the black people have been under for the last 2,000 years and we can't get out? Metamorphosis. Yeah, we have to sometime pause, because we're kind of sometimes moving too fast, especially in the things that we think we know. And some of those things that we think we know, we have them in our brain from the age 0 to 3, then planting those things up to age 5. And we recite and memorize and sing. But what the heck are we singing and talking about? What does it mean within the level of consciousness? This is a prayer, most widely spread prayer by the Christian faith. And it's coming like it's a virus, because the words are loaded. But we don't think, man, we just recite. Because that was the method of education, And to a serious degree, it's the same type of education we're having today, where people are given information to recite. So they don't digest and spit out what is irrelevant and come up with what is correct. Them just recite everything and repeat everything. Regurgitation. The Lord's Prayer. Even the word, the Lord. Within African tradition, I search where that word come from. Where in African cultures do we ever have people that we title as lords? I don't find it. It doesn't mean it's not there. But the language now we have to look into, because this language thing now is a production of the British. And what the British has done to us is given us a language that is most complicated and difficult. Not even him can understand himself when he use it. And they give us this language to confuse us. And it creates within the black population what I call a high level of illiteracy. And this is not ignorance now I'm speaking about. I'm talking about illiteracy, the inability to put the letters together to get the right sounds, to get those words, to get the meaning, to communicate properly. So we're not very good at that. So when we're speaking, we're not even saying the whole word. We'll say some word and chop off that because we're not even able to hear the letters within the word. So I was saying to my brethren earlier today, I can understand what was happening in the 70s when the leadership tried to remove illiteracy out of the country. There was actually a war, I think, in the 70s against illiteracy. And where there's illiteracy, the people perish. And so when you get prayers that have words in it, and people don't understand the meaning and where these words come from, it's a bag of confusion in the people's brain. I am calling for a re-examination of this thing called the Lord's Prayer. Why black people need a Lord? Why is it that black people now need a Lord's Prayer? What did we have before we got this Lord's Prayer? And who is this Lord? And when you check it out now, it comes into the Bible, goes back to Christianity, and them calling the Lord Jesus. So the prayer now is supposed to be the prayer that the Lord Jesus gave to his disciples. All of this is mythology now, you know. And we are internalizing these things as real. When did we first get introduced to the concept of a Lord in our Christian reading? It's really in the Bible. And you have to go into the Genesis to hear about this concept called the Lord. And if you read carefully, right through the first chapter of the Genesis, of the creation mythology, there is no concept of a Lord. There is no Lord in the first, what you call, 7 days of the creation period. What you see is the word, and the word of God, and the word of the Creator, and creation manifesting in a mythology. If you go into the second chapter now, when we enter the fable, we begin to see the term Lord. It's the first time we book up this thing called now Lord God. And I'm saying to the item, cannot be the same as what chapter 1 speaks of, when it speaks of the Creator God. But because we're not literate, because we're suffering from illiteracy, these things slip by us, and we think that everything is the same thing. So we hear about the Lord, and we hear about the Lord outside of the 7 days of creation. When this Lord God now goes into the dirt and make this dirty man, and then take a bone and make a bony woman, and this whole confusion begins. And we're under this concept now of a Lord. We have to free our meditation from this thing that them plant in our meditation for so long that a man internalize the prayer and him say it unconsciously. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Whose kingdom? The Lord's kingdom come. And the Lord's will be done. The Lord willing, not you, the individual who born with a will and a desire and an imagination. You are surrendering that divinity to the will of a Lord. That's some serious thing this prayer do too, psychologically. I'm not into the cultural aspect of things right now, We're talking about the psychology. The thing which hold your brain, the thing which lock up your brain cells and prevent thoughts from flowing without fear. So we have to look into this prayer keenly, because what the Pope has done is simply officially open the door for I and I going to it. Because the Pope realized that black people learning to read better and we interpret things better. So how can we pray for the Lord to prevent us from evil? How is the Lord shall, something is amiss. And we must use the opportunity to be free to examine it. The Pope don't free to go to hell. The Pope said there is no hell. There is no hell. And if this is a leader who represents the Christ on the earth to the Christian world, 1 billion people. So why am I trying to go on as though it can't go so? What is the Pope? The Pope is a mighty figure in the earth within the whole religious struggle. And it is the Pope and the papacy and the Vatican that was at the front of the exploitation of black people within the colonization period. When the Spanish and the Portuguese were fighting over the world and the territories, it's the Pope that intervened and divide the world and share the world between Spain and Portugal. It's a serious office. So ancient Rastaman used to just burn the Vatican. That was the focus. We chant down the Pope and we burn the Vatican. But now we have lost focus. We lost our direction. And we lose our enthusiasm, which is what stimulates our energy. All communication for reparations should be directed to Vatican City. Metamorphosis. The Pope said the English translation of the prayer was not correct. He said it is not a good translation because it speaks of a God who induces temptation. A long time I asked that, how can God be preventing us from temptation? How God abate we up so? The Pope said, I am the one who falls. It's not him pushing me into temptation to see how I have fallen. The Pope said, a father doesn't do that. A father helps you to get up immediately. He said, it's Satan who will lead us into temptation. And that is his department. I want them think about this carefully now, because some people dying and living for these type of prayers now, The Pope exposed the thing with black people free to talk about. And when we talk about it, it's foolishness. But when them talk about it, we have to think about it. The man say, the same father we talk about now, who will run up and down behind about the father this. The Pope said that father is not a good father. That father is not supposed to lead you into any temptation. He say father is supposed to help you to get up immediately. So maybe it's Satan's prayer. Because him say it's Satan who leads us into temptation. That is his department. Hey, I say to the people in this time that we are living, we're living in a time where we have a very interesting Pope and a very interesting world president in Donald Trump. We have two interesting characters now at the top of the world, And you see their directives, we better watch ourselves, and take the cue on how we're going to upgrade and improve our lives as a collective. Because these guys have their objectives. It's all about control. One dealing with military economics and the other one is dealing with psychological and mental, biblical. So the question about your identity now, we shall come to that. Which identity you embrace the greatest? Is it the religious one? Is it the political one? Is it your sexuality, that you defend your gender? Is it race? Is it the cultural identity? Because the religious identity, I think, is what has been holding on black people and leading us into war against each other. We defend religious identity above and beyond our racial identity. Because look at Africa. Look at the continent of Africa. 54 countries. And the 54 countries are all under the concept of one Father God. There's one Father God of them. But the continent is divided by Islam and Christianity. And both of them saying one Father God. And between that divide, the control is by the Caucasian forces. And now the Oriental forces moving in. We better let go that prayer. No.
In the valley, much too long. We've been down in a poverty, oh so long, yeah. We've been down in captivity, much too long. We've been down in humility, oh so long.
Now these changes, these changes were approved on May 22nd during the General Assembly of the Episcopal Conference of Italy. So when these guys have them meetings, like all them have them conferences and them come together, I saw them decide and make up things. I see them, so they make up Jesus, It's a conference, the Nicaea conference, Don't think it's anything coming out of the sky and we dump on the ground as black people looking up into the sky for these white men to bring us these messages. Let them sit down and decide what is going to be what. So there's a time when there was an argument that Jesus the Christ was a human being, and the next group said no, he was a divine being. Them had a conference. And them come to a consensus. Black people just on the plantation waiting for the answer, Because we're not involved in the reasoning and the debate. We are waiting for the answer. When the answer is thrown out, we jump up and say, yeah, well, that's how it go now. This is a moment in history, in our time, where we can clearly, and without any fear, look into the readings and the teaching that we get from these guys and these people. Where did they get this information from that they can now change it as them feel like, without any penalty from any force, without any fear? Or it's only we black people alone afraid of God? Everybody else who talk about God not afraid of God. Everybody afraid of the Lord and all them things. We have to come out of that fear to release our consciousness that we can think collectively. Our Father who art in heaven. So where is my mother? Where is your mother? You know, mama. One wing business weapon. Father. So you pressure man, run away. Because man are really accustomed to them kind of distress there, But all we depend is our Father. Oh, Father, do this away. Oh, Father. I know we hear say, one little man can get up now until you say, not that the Father prayer say. The Lord prayer don't say that, no, it said this. Amen, man. Religious identities. We can change them the way we change our clothes. You see some other identities now like race and gender, and black people. Those are fixed. See, all the other one them is fix them on us. So let us unfix it. Metamorphosis.
Oh, so long.
So we want them now be openly honest with their own being. How many individuals out there really have this dependence, psychologically on this concept called the Lord? How many times you move around and talk about, Lord, help me? And every time you bucket you say, oh Lord, how many of you have this thing programmed into your brain? Some people have it as Jesus, oh Jesus, everything, oh Jesus. Why do we respond this way? It's a program, because it's support to look in. So it's like a crutch. So it becomes a mental crutch. So you really don't develop strength and power and will. Because technically at the level of the prayer, you have surrendered your will. Because what do you say in the Lord's Prayer? You say the Lord's will be done. The Lord's will be done, not the will of the eye. So the Lord has a will, and it is the will of the Lord that will be done both in heaven and on earth. Now, what is the nature of the will of the Lord in heaven? What is the Lord willing in heaven? And what is the will of the Lord on earth? Because as a people, we're feeling oppression. We're feeling exploitation. We're feeling all of the isms and schisms. Is that the will of the Lord? That the Lord's will be done on earth. And then when the European brutalize I, him also can say it's the will of the Lord. So who does the Lord look out for? This construct of the Lord. Then we are told that the Lord helps those who help themselves. But the Lord doesn't help those who can't help themselves. So you see, when you can't help yourself, you're on your own. You could have prayed a little more. The Lord will not help you. The Lord helps those who help themselves. So if you can't help yourself, you're salt. Which means the Lord don't deal with losers. The Lord watch and see who will win and jump on the winning side at the last moment. I'm not dealing with a loser. That is a monkey that we have to get off our back, out of our consciousness. This feeling of something in the sky, the Lord that is in heaven. Remember, it's above sky thing now, And every time there is some kind of success, everybody point to the sky. So we get the program for 2,000 years. And we are being ruled by the Lord. And this Lord is a construct, an idea that the Pope, a true we know, sir, him can change what the Lord say. So the Lord don't write. It's men write things. And we claim that these writings are inspired men. So Garvey wasn't inspired by the Lord. No, because Garvey was a black man who talked about black liberation and setting economic freedom for black people. So it's not the Lord talk to him. Who the Lord talk to him and make we know so we must be humble and be meek. Because the meek will inherit the earth in a coffin box. So a coffin, an empty box around the island now. An empty box around the island, Anyway, another thing.
Some say that Zika, dengue, and chikungunya are found in water, and that by drinking the water, we can get infected. But that's false. Zika, dengue, and chikungunya are transmitted through the bite of a mosquito that breathes in stagnant water. Protect yourself and your family.
Remember Styles FM on social media. View us on YouTube, Styles FM Radio. Follow us on Instagram at Styles FM. Like us on Twitter at Styles FM 961. Become a fan on Facebook. Styles FM 96.1.
Business operators, local and overseas. This announcement is for you.
Styles FM is an internationally known radio network with worldwide listeners in over 120 countries.
From our studio in Port Antonio, Jamaica, to the ears of the people in your community, our listeners can be your new customers.
Styles FM is an economical, efficient, and effective advertising option for your business.
No matter the size of your business, there's always growth potential. Styles FM provides the customer reach needed to realize that upward movement.
So procrastinate no more. Advertising is a must.
For more details on how to advertise with Styles FM, visit www.stylesfm.com or email info@stylesfm.com or call us on 876-518-2399.
Styles FM, the world listens.
The most anticipated party of the summer is back. Styles
Styles FM Fan Fusion Party Episode 6 Drunken Masquerade. Saturday, July 13, 2019 at the Bayview Waterfront Property, Oysters Bay, Port Antonio, Jamaica. Come hear Styles FM's finest DJs juggling retro hits from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. Admission $700 pre-sold. $1,000 at the gate. VIP $3,500. Styles Zebo $6,000. Party starts at 7 p.m. sharp. Listen to Styles FM for ticket outlets or call 876-518-2399. Fan Fusion Party. Drunken Masquerade. Dress comically elegant. Fan Fusion is not just a party. It's an experience.
Must be 18 years and older to enter. ID required. Drink responsibly.
Architects, draftsmen, and surveyors, get your drawings printed in high-quality professional standards. We can satisfy your printing needs. Whether it is for presentation to your clients or for submitting building and subdivision application, make it VJ Printing Services. Whether drawing by hand or with computer-aided softwares, we will plot your negatives and print the copies as you need. We do high-quality white paper printing that is water-resistant and never fades, unlike traditional blueprint. For more information, call VJ Printing at 893-2266.
Clifford Guest House, sponsor of Metamorphosis on Monday nights from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight with Dr. Iman Blak. Located at 15 Queen Street, Port Antonio, that's Titchfield Hill, they offer accommodations for up to 1 month. Call them at 285-0610 for more information.
Unemployment, imprisonment, the way we do you. Slave rocket, empty wallet, broke pocket, the way we do you. In and yard, rent card, landlord, the way we do you. What about the ration? Don't mean a jam, don't mean all. It's all over creation. Not only in a jam, don't jam, don't know. And now only inflation. All over creation, yeah. And now be a starvation. Not only in a jam, don't know. Homicide, suicide, genocide, the way we do you. Consideration, desperation, eradication, now way we do you. Gambling, hustling, scuffling, the way we do you. Keep up, stay broke, bad luck, the way we do you. What about the ration? Don't mean a jam, don't mean all. It's all over creation. Not only in a jam, don't know. And now only inflation. Don't mean a jam, don't know. It's all over creation. Not only in a jam, don't know. Promises, apologies, diseases, the way we do you. Power cut, water shut, hungry God, the way we do you. Con man, gunman, hangman, the way we do you. Courthouse, jailhouse, detention, the way we do you. What about the ration? Don't mean a jam, don't mean all. It's all over creation. Not only in a jam,
Yeah, Jam Down now. Jam Down have a situation that has just arisen. And in this situation now, the people are being told that the leadership of the opposition is no longer in a position to be a viable challenger. In other words, no, within the opposition People's National Party, there is a move afoot now by one of the aspiring MPs who have the ambition to be the Prime Minister of Jamaica. And in that ambition now, he has to become the president of his party. So the president is Dr. Peter Phillips. And the challenger is a man called Peter Bunting. Peter 1 versus Peter 2. And I want to say that even before going too far into this reasoning as to what is the situation and the outcome, there are times when politicians come up into a situation that we can't solve because they don't really have the thought power or maybe the resources. And ultimately these men and women, when they can't go no further, and the people pressure them for an answer, them say, boy, it requires divine intervention. And we've heard it over and over from different forces and different people. And you see, this concept of divine intervention is also connected to the notion of this Father above. And it's tied up again into the Lord's Prayer. So the politicians are not different from those who have been trapped by religion, you know. So even though they have a political identity, they also have a religious identity. And it looks as though the religious identity may actually be overpowering the political. So within black people now, as I was asking, which identity could be most dominant? Is it the religious or the political? And I would venture to say it is a religious identity. Because men have been at war with each other over religion for centuries. Men will disagree over politics and economics, and sometimes they will go to war. But the religious aspect always bring war. Because what is a battle? It's a battle of trying to prove who is closer to this Father and who the Father speaks to more. And it comes right back to the Bible stories about this Father who has chosen people. So we lock into the concept of a biased Father from day one. Bias, discrimination. And we have to recognize what we're under. What is it we're throwing up our words to? This Father above, this our Father. Because it is really a force in our psychology. And it's even more forceful when we are absent of the mother to put a balance in our own being. So, the local political struggle now is for a new leader to challenge the government. And there's an age issue at role now because Jamaica now is really a young people society. I would think that over 50% of the population may be under 30. So the mental resonance needed at the leadership level have to have some level of youthfulness in it. And the PNP is struggling because the leadership is old. And this challenge has certain implications that have people running all around the place now, some thinking that this could be the end of the PNP. Because this internal struggle may not bring out the best of both sides. And if the worst come out, then the opposition will have a free run to another 5 years. Some think it's a wrong timing for this challenge, but in politics, it's all a matter of timing. And perhaps Peter number 2 thinks that Peter number 1 can't go any further. And just to complete this reason now, early, we see where Peter number 1 has called upon Damian Crawford to be the spearhead of his campaign. And if this is a defeat, then Crawford can also give it up. In other words, now, the governing party is sitting very pretty, and the opposition is in disarray. If they can find a way to come to a consensus and provide a challenge to the JLP, then the democratic process will be working. But the way things set up now in Jamaica, that this challenge may just lead to the dissolution of any real opposition and would give the JLP a free run. Is it a one-party state we're moving towards? Are we moving towards a military state? So people throwing out things to challenge and to claim that new leadership is needed, but the overall condition of the island, one that is being dominated by violence and crime and them things there. I'm not so sure if this is moving towards the solution that we need. Because crime and the violence in Jamaica is not, to me, cannot be solved by the politicians. The politicians have been a part of the problem. But when you look at the island wherein we have no control over what enters our country, we have no control over the coastline, it means that we're open. And the guns are never made here in Jamaica. So when the police find a barrel with 10 guns, it means 100 guns got through. How do we resolve these issues? Can we keep asking for divine intervention? Or if we begin to shake off that feeling of help above and begin to look within our own being for that solution? So we must make a decision. Do we continue to look into the Father above? The national anthem encourages the people to seek eternal wisdom from above. Everything is coming from above. We need to redirect those energies and begin to look within the consciousness of our own history and our own experience and find the solutions from within. The Lord's Prayer should be abandoned. No. And we begin to look into how do we support our own selves? How do we support our families? How do we support our women? How do we support our children? We can start at the basics. Metamorphosis. Can somebody create a prayer to our mother? Can someone create a prayer to our mother? Our mother, who is the earth. Yeah, we need our own prayers. So when we're celebrating, we don't point up into the sky, especially when the sun is not there. We should begin to point to the earth. Can somebody write a prayer to our mother who art the earth? Powerful is thy name. Your kingdom is here. Somebody, let us go into our creative bag. Let us write our own prayers to our mother. Any culture, any society that promotes the father and the mother is absent is a defective society. Defective, dysfunctional, sexist. The characteristics that we see coming out of the European civilization and culture, where the male European sees himself as superior to his female counterpart, where the European male thinks that the female European is a slave and that she came out of his rib. That is his ideology and his culture. So women are slaves in that meditation. Black cultures don't come from that vibration. Black cultures have the greatest respect for the feminine principle. So we can't continue to find ways of liberating ourselves by giving all our attention to this thing called our father. And if you examine the father, I'm doing black. You know that. If you close your eyes and think about our father, like a white man, you see. Just like when you close your eyes and think about angels, you see some little white things flying. You don't see black angels. You don't see no black wings. Because the imagination has been captured. So when you say our father, how many of you see a black man with some dreadlocks? How many see a black man when you say our father who art in heaven? Is there any black man in your heaven? Or all black men are put in hell? We have to change up the lyrics because the Pope is doing it. So what authorized him? And we are afraid. Yeah, man, our mother. We need our prayers. And we need to say a black mommy when we see the picture of our mother. And when we begin to talk about our father, it has to be a black man. We don't do business with the Chinaman want to say, because he's not praying to nothing up in the sky. The Indian man doesn't join that joke thing either. It's the black people who have been programmed into Christianity with their meditations up into the sky and the land and the other captive. We say, Lego the our father. Let us develop our mother. And then let us talk about our mothers and fathers. Let us talk about us and them. Our mothers and our fathers. Them I was thinking about Mother's Day and Father's Day, but never together. Never Parents' Day. If we don't make those changes ourselves, nobody will change those things to suit I and I. Yeah, man, we put a brakes on our father. Yeah, man, we could stop it and see if anything dramatic will happen. Stop saying that thing to yourself. Get up in the morning and start say, yes, praise our mother. And go outside and look into the earth. Look at the plants and look at the animals. And when you want to say our father, look up into the sky and look into this almighty sun. Because that is the father. That's why they say the father and the son is one. S-U-N. Metamorphosis. Before we come on to this segment here, we're going to just speak a little bit more about that identity crisis that we face when it comes to religious and religion. Because remember now, we egg and sperm connect. There is no religion. just race and gender as the fundamental levels of identity. Egg and sperm lick up, no concept of religion. But you see, when the fetus begin to grow and reach a certain amount of months and decide to come out, as it come out, the first thing to do is clamp on a religious identity. Boom! Baptize and christen and just tie up the little baby brain. Tie up the consciousness in all kind of boogie talk. So before the consciousness can be free enough to even know its own name, it has been overpowered with an identity and some rituals. And so before the African nature, before the nature of the racial consciousness can rise, you have been programmed into a religious identity. So this is difficult to know, because on the African continent today is just a war between two identities, Muslim and Christian. There's one black identity, one black race. But they have us fighting along the line of religious identities. And what is it now? One religion is supposed to be more perfect and closer now to the same Father. It's the same Father thing now, in a way. One group, even within the Christian denomination, every little group feels them nearer to the Father than every other group. The Pentecostal come and the Baptist come and the Church of God and the Seventh-day Jehovah. All of them come on my yard, line up one behind the other. And every one of them come is more perfect. And them condemn the group who just leave because they don't have the right. They miss the message. But this group have it. So them nearer to the Lord. So the Lord's prayer is a big cycle. The only way the cycle can break in a certain level is when we start to show our youths the difference. Big people now change. Because big people afraid. Big people afraid if them change, they may go to hell. Because they want to go too near to the Lord. And the Lord don't tell them, say, it's only a limited amount of space in my building. So you have to behave like a crab in a barrel to get into my home. I am saying we don't need any more of that. If only we could get out of living in the year of the Lord. Because the Chinaman lives in the year of the rat and the kangaroo. And every year he have a different vibration. We stuck in the year of the Lord. 2,000 years now, we're in the year of the Lord. And you know, Sister Lola, we're stuck as a race. Stuck. So we have to change up the rhythm. Change up the psyche. Change up the year. Change up the Lord. And get conscious. Metamorphosis.
seeking a place to rent, seeking employment, or have a job vacancy? Are you selling a car or having a garage sale? Then come see us. Let Styles do the advertising for you and you'll be on your way in no time. Contact us at 876-286-9216 or 439-5160. Advertising Style. Advertise with Styles.
This is Ricardo Suave, inviting you to tune in to Smoosic, the show for the ladies, with DJ Prestige, from 9 to midnight every Tuesday on Styles 96.1 FM, Portland's best.
I've been watching you. Extra, extra, read all about it. It's Fan Fusion tickets. Yes, pre-sold Fan Fusion tickets are now available at Styles FM Studio, 4 Barmouth Avenue, Port Antonio, White Case Pharmacy, West Street, Rams Texaco, Port Antonio, Taj Pharmacy, West Street, La Best Sports Bar, Port Antonio, Trina's Ice Cream Shop, Hector's River. All Styles FM DJs have tickets as well. Morant Bay, Texaco. Also Universal Electrical and Plumbing Supplies, Wharf Road, Morant Bay, St. Thomas. For more information, call 518-2399. Get your tickets now.
Guess what? Styles FM has a new business number for you to call, text, and now WhatsApp. 518-2399. To advertise your business and events, call, text, or WhatsApp us on
518-2399. 518-2399.
Don't forget, 518-2399. Clifford Guest House, sponsor of Metamorphosis on Monday nights from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight with Dr. Iman Blak. Located at 15 Queen Street, Port Antonio, that's Titchfield Hill, they offer accommodations for up to 1 month. Call them at 285-0610 for more information.
Metamorphosis continuing into Alkebulan, our story, Kimit. You know, I sometimes reflect on this idea of BC and AD that they give us, you know. Because they know that we have to work along the line of time. So we grew up hearing about BC. And them say BC mean before Christ. And Dr. Ben added on the E and told us about BCE, which meant before the Christian era. And so they used these two things, these codes, BC and AD. Now, a lot of people don't even know what that means or if it even make any difference. They must say 2019 now. And last year was 2018 and next year is 2020. But again, we must reflect on what we are reciting and how did we come to these statements, who created these ideas for us. Because you're going to realize that a lot of things that we have been looking into as divine is men created. White men in particular, coming out of their own brain cells, which is in no superior position than even the eye. So they give us BC now. So it's like only have two ways to look at time. Before the Christ and after the Christ. So the Christ now become a symbol of demarking. It's a symbol to mark time. But I'm saying long before any Christ concept come up, black people never couldn't talk about the BC. So before Jesus, the Christ born, how was time referred to? Because you could make no reference to BC because nobody don't born yet. And what you have to come to the knowledge of is that the period and the time was dominated by a people on the continent that were considered to be Kemetic. Kemetic is just another word for black. So our experience is really before and after the Kemetic experience. In other words, we have a pre-Kemetic, we have a Kemetic period, and we have a post-Kemetic period. So we can also recognize time not just along the line of the Christ, but along the line of our chemistry, our Kemetic history. That there's a history that is Kemetic, and there's a history that is after the Kemetic history. Now, the line and the time of demarcation, I am proposing that the Kemetic culture that was dominant in the world and Africa and the continent met its demise and final shutdown when Rome entered Egypt. So it is a Roman Empire that really brought the end to the Kemetic rulership of the world. So the Kemetic Empire came to a close officially with the death of Cleopatra. Now, who is Cleopatra? Again, a very, very important woman, queen, that every black woman should know about and every black child, male, should know about. This queen, Cleopatra. As a youth, I thought Cleopatra was a white woman because they used Elizabeth Taylor in the Hollywood movies to project the Ethiopians and the Egyptians. So because Elizabeth Taylor was considered to be the most beautiful woman in Hollywood, she was given the title and the roles to play as Cleopatra. So the Western world convinced black people now that beauty is really within the eyes of the white people. And Cleopatra now was the beautiful Egyptian queen, but we were given the image of her as a white woman. And what is important about Cleopatra is that dates and time count. When was Cleopatra alive? When was Cleopatra born? And we get the time of Cleopatra to be around 50 years before the Christian era. So before Jesus, there was Cleopatra. And Cleopatra became famous, not just because she was a ruler in Egypt, but because the Roman emperor decided to link her and check her out and turn her into a woman. So the Roman military leaders, Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, two of them used to struggle over Cleopatra. So here you have these two Romans now fighting over this black woman. And this woman is a queen. This woman is suffering from an inferiority complex. She's not in a feminist movement and she's not fighting for equality with a black man. She's superior. And it is a meeting now of Cleopatra and Julius Caesar and Mark Antony that the Roman Empire begins to invade and really get control of the black culture. And I want to let you know, it's out of the same Roman culture now, you're going to see the Pope emerge. Because the Pope of Rome, remember now, Rome is the might power at the time, overpower Egypt, and is a world power. And within that construct, the church becomes the propaganda arm for the Roman Empire. And within the church, the instrument of their destruction is the Bible. That becomes the tool of colonization of the Roman Empire. It's the same King James version of the Bible. So this Bible thing has been coming through from the Roman days, and the Romans have been using this as a tool of control. The English became the next ruling empire after the Romans, and the English also used the Bible as a tool of control. It is the English now, through their king, James, that we get this version that controls the brains of so many people in the world. So we have to understand the role of ancient Egypt, that it was a fall of Egypt that allowed the Romans to come in with them religious propaganda. And it's from that time we have lost our gods and goddesses. We no longer worship at home. We no longer see our Egyptian queens. We no longer see the pantheon of Egyptian gods. We were introduced to the English, Jewish, Hebrew consciousness. And in that consciousness, there is this one God. There's this all-powering, jealous, envious God of Moses. And this God is supposed to now be the author of the Son. And it is this Son and this God now that has been in control for 2 centuries and more. And consciousness is what will shake us free. So we give thanks for the Pope opening the window to allow the very coward many to look out it and realize that it is a man-made construction. It's Rome construct the Bible and its old philosophical ways of teaching. It is a Roman Empire that is still ruling. Not militarily, but psychologically, through Bible teachings. Liberation from the Lord's Prayer is key.
Black people don't get weary. Them say coffee shoppers and chain and say them free with. But we still on a mental slavery. Wanna sing with the Star Trail posse, my lord. Fire pan rum, people fall and them sisters and come. Black people want go home. And Mount Zion and the righteous throne. You go yo, fire pan rum. People fall and them sisters and come. Black people want go home. And Mount Zion and the righteous throne. Well, this is my question. Issa and the one Matalan. How no get fi want so much black people land? After them slave achieve nothing in hand. Check out greater boat more greater. One room on a bill a selfie 1 million. Then just to the house to water 100 grand. To me a leak out them want me keep quiet. But me a bonfire with the one Butch Stewart. Who buy out the planes and all the pilots. To me no in a Jamaica long piton. A big bonfire on the one named Azan. Everybody know them town a be the poor man. How them claim shit a set to them it belong. Them a hustling that need no food in a hand. One help we have is the Almighty One. Jamaican chant me song. Fire pan rum. People fall and them scissors and come. Black people want go.
The Roman Empire. The Roman Empire is an empire that black people should never embrace. And the Roman Empire is the empire that really brought the end to the Egyptian culture, global domination, and the establishment of the things that were positive. And so Cleopatra is an important figure in the demise and not the demise, at the ending point of the Egyptian dynasty. Cleopatra was there. And why she's so well known in history, why she became so famous, was because of, one, her intellect, and two, her beauty. So the black woman are always intellectual and beautiful, you know. We never lacking in that area yet, you know. The Western experience reduces to chattel, and animals and dog and bitches and all them things, you know. It's a colonization and the things that I and I go through. We should not be here, but we're here and we are in a resurrection mode, and we're drawing upon our story for our own inspiration. Cleopatra, known for her beauty and intellect, but the Europeans have her recognized more for her love affairs with Caesar and Mark Antony, because it's that them I deal with. And it was really after the death of her father that she actually came to the throne. Her father was Ptolemy the 12th. And of course, as I said earlier now, she was portrayed by this movie star in Hollywood, as she was considered to be the most beautiful woman in Hollywood. So Cleopatra is a sample for black women to draw from. It's an example that we don't need to be worshipping any father in absence of a mother, because we've always had queens. We're not a homo society. We're not the same sex thing. We don't know where that come from, you know. That's a recent invention. We know where the mother and her role is. We know that in ancient Nile Valley culture, the Trinity was headed by the female. That is the culture we're coming out of. That's the culture we know. But now, in the Western world, we lock upon the man. Everything is a male. And there's always a white male. And when you do a crime that is able to take it in front of the courts, and there's certain bandugli, them call it, them say it's black male. You never hear about white male. White male don't mean anything criminal. Black male. So when the male now, who is a masculine being, when you refer to the black male, what are we talking about? The black male or black male? It is also recorded now that Cleopatra's end came about through suicide. That she and Mark Antony commit suicide together in the year 30 before the Christian era. So when you begin to recognize the forces that come out of Black Africa, one thing that stands out is the tombs and the memorials that are built by these ancient people. I noticed that nobody in the Bible, there's no Bible character where you can find any remnants of when them dead. There's no tomb, no burial site for nobody in the Bible. What I say? No character in the Bible you can find any site where they have been buried. Yet we have sites of our ancient kings and queens of Africa and Egypt well buried under certain places and well preserved for history, our story. Where are the Bible people them? Oh, nobody in the Bible who dead, we can't find a grave for them. Nobody at all. So I said, them people never real. Man, I'll go in a mountain and disappear. Where are the grave sites for the people who died in the Bible? Where them there, scattered across the earth? Somebody pointed out to me. No evidence, no grave site of no great man who in the Bible, from Adam straight to Jesus, to all the man of Samson, no sight. It leaves one to wonder if these people were real. Were these people real? That we have been reading for all of these years upon years and imagining them, that them real. There is no sight. And other cultures can carry. Look here, we find a tomb in Egypt. Egypt is 6,000 years old and 7,000 years old. You know. We find Akhenaten and we find King Tut and we find, and you can't find one person. Them not real.
Shines like a beautiful stream. Hey, hey, it's here in this world and it's reigning supreme. Because of this something that keeps on glittering. Because of this something, so many people are fighting. Knowledge and wisdom will lead us to freedom.
And then, you know, after the death of Cleopatra, Egypt, the great mighty Egypt, was reduced to a province of the Roman Empire. A province. So that has been the journey of our blackness as a mighty empire. Came to a crashing in a couple of years before the Christian era started. And so from them time to now we have been under the Lord. Yes, at the end of the empire, the Romans now put us under the Lord. And the Lord is a brutal and wicked Lord. You know, so how the Lord behaves. Let me tell you, say, all the story said the people on the earth were trying to build a building to go up in the sky. And the Lord come down from out of the sky and get vexed and confuse the people. And mix up them language and tell us nobody can communicate. That is kind of things were coming out of as mythology. Mythology. So the Lord God was up in the sky and the people was building up in the sky and him get upset and come down out of the sky and match up the people them thing. These are not real things. Are these things reality or are they fiction? Are they stories? It's about time to stop and think. Those who give it to us, telling us say don't go so, and we're holding on to it, claiming say it have to go so. It's a fear. And perhaps the biggest fear is the fear of losing your soul. The other thing with them tell you say you have. Where when the egg and the sperm connect, you can't find the soul. But somehow you grow up and them tell you say you have a soul that you must now preserve at the expense of your body. Rethinking. Time to rethink. Pope, open the door. Who want run out, run out. Who want stay in, stay in.
No bother with no fuss, no fight, unite. No matter if you're black, no white, unite. You know that the time is right, unite. No bother with no fuss, no fight, unite. 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 You know that the time is right, unite. 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 No bother fussing, no fight. Where there's no union, there's only confusion. Hey, hey, this is the time to make a decision. Because of this something that keeps on glittering. Because of this something, so many people are fighting. Because of this something that keeps on glittering. Because of this something, so many people are fighting.
I also want to make mention of another important queen that we overlook and ignore at our own expense. There's a queen called Nefertiti. And again, we're talking about ancient Egyptian culture. And this Nefertiti was a pharaoh. So we're here today talking about women in government and women trying to get a chance to be leaders. We don't go through that long time as black people, you know. We don't have no deficiency in our meditation about a female in a leadership role, you know. The white man complex. Him is the one who struggles when a woman is in charge. He begins to feel inferior because they have a thing called like ego that feels threatened, and it's a sick condition. The black reality that the woman is supreme. That's where we get the concept of black supremacy. Not from the idea of being dominant over another group, but by recognizing the supremacy of our woman. So, Cleopatra was who she is and great. Nefertiti was a pharaoh. And she recognized the power of the sun, Aten. She was actually perhaps the great motivator in bringing about monotheism. Yes, the woman queen Nefertiti. And so in today's world, black man traveling through the earth and experiencing communication with black woman, we have to move away from this don't talk and this inferiority position that we seem to put ourselves in. We have to recognize the supremacy of the female, and she must recognize her role when it comes to bringing the family together. Because it's not about she and about the man, it's about the unit. It's about the family, because the family now really is the foundation and the basic of any society. So until we can get the black family functional, because I think right now it is dysfunctional. It is dysfunctional when a family that has a black man and a black woman in it thinks that there is a Lord that is above them up into the sky. And that the Lord has a son that can be in the physical house and have authority over the man. So these are the things we have to revisit. And in that revisiting, we must recognize the importance of our women and the importance of our queens and begin to expose our children to our great queens. All we used to hear about is Queen Elizabeth. And we're still hearing about her at 92 years old now, going 93. What about Queen Nzinga? Cleopatra? Nefertiti? So Nefertiti, intellectual, philosophical, and important in bringing about the one God concept of monotheism. She and her husband, King Akhenaton, together forged a religion in ancient Egypt, moving the people away from polytheism to the idea of monotheism. And so when Akhenaton spoke of the one God was the S-U-N. That had no S-O-N. It was a S-U-N. And the Romans manipulated that philosophy till we now end up with a S-O-N as the representation of the S-U-N. It's deceptive, but we'll see it. And we're going to talk it until the Pope starts to look out against it too. And maybe the Pope will listen to the metamorphosis. Who to tell?
Eternity is a temptation of time. To dance is to be master of time. His pleasure is to control mind. Universal remedy, cure for you and cure for me. Universal remedy, cure for you and cure for me. Dr. Street is the one you get to meet. Whoa, Dr. Street is the one you got to meet. Oh yeah, yeah. Dr. Street is the one you got to meet. Whoa. Dr. Street is the one you got to meet. Oh yeah, yeah. Memory was a treacherous thing. Souvenirs and golden rings. His life is an exhibition to death. With all those arrows and knives and hatchets, machetes hanging there on the wall. Talking gongs and instruments used for divination. Silent statue chiseling strokes of charity. Dr. Street is the one you got to meet. Whoa. Dr. Street is the one you got to meet. Oh yeah, settled down by ruins. Rusty rat and river trout. His world is full of fetish forest. Dusty museum of life. Shadows of jawbone sticking to a lazy silver spoon. Hasty brown eyes echoing with laughter. Dr. Street is the one you got to meet. Whoa. Dr. Street is the one you got to meet. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Dr. Street is the one you got to meet. Whoa. Dr. Street is the one you get to meet. Oh yeah, yeah. Come on, my ginger girl. There is a rocky, rugged road to go. Come on, my ginger girl. There is a rocky, rugged road to go. Beside your journey from the plains of the no man to the promised land.
The most anticipated party of the summer is back. Styles FM Fan Fusion Party Episode 6 Drunken Masquerade. Saturday, July 13, 2019 at the Bayview Waterfront Property, Oysters Bay, Port Antonio, Jamaica. Come hear Styles FM's finest DJs juggling retro hits from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. Admission $700 pre-sold. $1,000 at the gate. VIP $3,500. Styles Zebo $6,000. Party starts at 7 p.m. sharp. Listen to Styles FM for ticket outlets or call 876-518-2399. Fan Fusion Party. Drunken Masquerade. Dress tropically elegant. Fan Fusion is not just a party. It's an experience.
Must be 18 years and older to enter. ID required. Drink responsibly.
Did you know that dengue, chikungunya, and Zika are transmitted by mosquitoes? This is why it is so important to get rid of tires, bottles, and other containers with stagnant water and keep barrels covered. Eliminating stagnant water is everyone's responsibility. Protect yourself and your family. A message from the USAID, PSI Caribbean, CARFA, and the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
For complete auto repairs and services, come to Akon Auto Technology, located at 33 Bumble Crescent, Port Antonio, Jamaica. We offer specialist services in wheel alignment and wheel balancing, brake drum and disc rotary servicing, state-of-the-art ultrasonic cleaning and testing of your fuel injectors. We also stock an assorted range of auto service parts, tires, and motorcraft batteries. If we don't have it, we will source it for you. Call us at 876-715-5205 or email AkonAutoTech16@gmail.com. Akon Auto Technology, beyond the typical auto mechanic shop.
Guess what? Styles FM has a new business number for you to call, text, and now WhatsApp. 518-2399. To advertise your business and events, call, text, or WhatsApp us on
518-2399. 518-2399.
Don't forget, 518-2399. Clifford Guest House, sponsor of Metamorphosis on Monday nights from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight with Dr. Iman Blak. Located at 15 Queen Street, Port Antonio, that's Ditchfield Hill. They offer accommodations for up to 1 month. Call them at 285-0610 for more information.
Who the hell do they think I am? Give me food from the pot bottom. Give me scrap from them.
Hail up Lance in New York and the entire New York crew who locked into Styles FM and the Metamorphosis. We say hail, and more hail.
I grab a licious like a harbor shark. Cry blood. I got to cry blood. Cry blood. I got to cry blood. For my people, yeah. Cry blood. I got to cry blood. I cry blood. I got to cry blood. Hey. There's just one thing I don't overstand. But make we love to kill with one black man.
Yeah, metamorphosis. I cry foul. Yeah, man, foul. Something wrong play, some illegal play take place. Our Father, who art in heaven, where is that? Where is heaven, where our Father dwelleth? Where is heaven? From we are children, we hear about heaven. And then we hear about another place now that you must be dread and terrible about, called hell. So we grow up in these binaries that control our brain to fear. So our Father lives in heaven. So who is it that lives in hell now? Who is it that lives in hell? Because them say once there's a heaven, there must be a hell. So if your father in heaven, who's in hell? It's not them. I know that's what them tell us about mother there. I couldn't know mother them are put in a hell. So this location now, from where youths were fascinated with locating heaven. Where is heaven? So all the intellects come out to describe this thing that has been spoken of in a word. Heaven. Because that's where the Father is. So people say to you right away, well, you know, it's above the earth. Well, how high above the earth is heaven? Is it a specific place, or is heaven an English word that means the things that are around us and above? So you have heaven and you have heavens. Yeah, you can put an S on it and it changes the meaning. So what is heaven and where is it? Dr. Ben said heaven is between a woman's leg. That is Dr. Ben's version of heaven. Because him think that is the site of total happiness. Yes. What is heaven? That people are perplexed in their brain, trying to get there. And in that heaven conception, are there anything dark there? Or is it a completely white place? Are the clouds there white, or are there storm clouds? People, Rastaman would say from an ancient time that the heaven is in the mind. And he would point him head. So he say the heavens is what you have inside of your head. Now that could also be a concept of the heaven. Your meditation. Because it feels as though it's up in the air. So where then would be hell? Because them lock in the binary, you know. Them say if there's heaven, there is hell. Them say if there's good, there is evil. And so if there's father, then I guess there is fatherless. Because we could never set the mother as the opposition to father. Mother and father are supposed to be complementary. So our Father that is in heaven, black people, we have to identify where the heaven is so we can go deal with his father. Because his father not taking care of his children. Because the prayer tells us that the Father is the one who leads us into temptation. So then what then is the role of the devil? If the Father doing all these things, what is the role of Satan? What is the role of the devil, Satan, as they project to us? It make it look as though Satan is a good guy. It make it look as though they give us everything in reverse. And maybe the book that we read is not really the book of goodness, but maybe it's a book of evil. It's them put it to us. Because we are being confounded now. When we examine carefully what the Lord's prayer is, the Lord is sending us into temptation. And at the same time, it's a temptation that will send us into hell. So it looks like a company at work. Look like a cooperation between the Lord and the devil that told them to do business. Him temporary and send me to hell, and then when we go to hell, Satan deal with it. We have to come out of these storybook type of meditation. And if I say to you, Satan, nobody thinks of anybody white, I am sure the image doesn't come to the mind of Satan being white, because the construction in the religion is that goodness and God and Jesus are all symbolized by white. And you're locked into the oppositional thinking. It means that the fatherless and that all things that negative are displayed as black. Well, the word black now becomes a problematic. Because we see there are some women in America. They call themselves women of color. They might lick out now upon a thing called dictionary.com. Because the argument now is that definition of black is offensive. I know it's a long time it stays so, you know. But the demand is now increasing, that they want a change. What is the definition of black? Always negative. So, consciousness is increasing. People are now looking into the dictionary, realizing that if the dictionary telling you that black is terrible, that it's these things that are soiled, that it's threatening, that is evil. If you go into your dictionary and see these meanings, you know, these things register in the subconscious brain. What we're having now is a woman of color in the United States demanding that the definition of black be changed. And if you look at how we have been given the idea of black, is always presented as an adjective, as something that is descriptive, but never given as a noun. Because a noun will suggest that it may really refer to a person. So, we have a long way to go, you know. We have a lot of things to unlearn. We have to unlearn that Lord's Prayer, and we have to unlearn the definitions they give us of what black is. Because in the reality of black is really a state of nature. Black is a state where all energies are within. There is no reflection of light when we talk about blackness, because blackness has the power to capture and to contain. So when black people are traveling through the days, doing their slavery work, we are actually storing energy, solar energy, in our skin. And you know, when night come, when early morning come, 2 o'clock, when we begin to release those stored energies, they are released within our creativity. So the black people are extremely creative in the very early mornings, between 2, 3, 4, 5 a.m., when the energy that was stored during the day is released, and released as our creativity. But the plantation system slave us out in the day, so when night come, we're too tired. So we're not able to be up when we are at our creative best. It's only the artists them, upper than ours there, manifesting creativity. So we have to unlearn the negative definitions of black. Our journalists must begin to write black with a capital B when we're describing people. You as an individual, when you're writing about black and black people, must begin to write in a capital B. The common B is a description of a condition. And we're not a condition, we are a people. Metamorphosis. When a black child learns from a dictionary that the black skin is ugly, that child may become very insecure. And insecurity leads to even greater problems, such as low self-esteem, depression, or even suicide. So we have to get the definition corrected. We have to get rid of that offensive definition of black. And so when a young mind interprets black as evil and soiled, it's difficult for that young mind to identify themselves as black. So these definitions help to shape our perceptions and ultimately help to shape the perceptions that we have of our own selves. It may sound simplistic and, irrelevant to some people, but self-definition is the first step towards race consciousness. And if you define yourself as the dictionary says black is, then you will never really achieve the consciousness that you need. So we have to revisit all these things and reject certain things. The same way we reject the Lord's Prayer and reject the concept of the Lord in the sky. And the Lord is a title that comes out of London. And the Lord is a title. And so we have to see where these things coming from and consciously put them aside, fearlessly, knowing that nothing can touch us, the I that is within.
Got a bomb, got a knife, who's gonna lose their life? Bodyguard, I wouldn't like your job. Snakes in the grass, no, not God.
And as the daughters, women say, let's change the old, insulting, abusive, objectionable, hostile, attacking definition of black. That's not what we are. And that's not what we stand for. Let's move to change it and proudly represent BLACK in black capitals. So the fight is on, and the journey is on, and the consciousness is trying to awaken itself, shaking off these definitions that have been put upon us for centuries. And we just go around with it without even thinking. But it's very obvious now. The brain of black people moving into a gear. We are beginning to think. And it's through that thinking power we are able to establish ourselves above all other cultures in the world as the world's dominant culture. And we shall restore that dominance. But first we need to correct the deficiencies within the individual being that we are. All of our internal organization need to be reorganized. It's not about yourself, because the self is just a part of the identity. And the self is what the society has a grip over. But the society can't control the I. That is where the sovereign power rests. Society have a lot of influence over yourself, because they help to construct that self. The media can help to build a self. The media can destroy a self. But this is the I that is divine and there from inception, that is indestructible, intangible and invisible. That is the power that we must develop. The power of the I, the imagination, the intuition, the intellect. And that is what will set I and I. That is what will set the self to be free. So we can emancipate the self until we liberate the I. Metamorphosis.
Revolution. Then take away with privacy. This social media is more. I'm telling you. More than a means to distract and confuse. You could have come from there, could have come from far. White like a snow, could have black like tar. No matter if you're righteous or you're bad like Escobar. I tell you, they have control over you. Boy, don't listen to the media, them. Don't take sides, don't take bribes, just be
wiser than them and those that come around and make promises. Promises that turn out to lies. This is a conscious revolution.
Conscious revolution.
They take away with privacy.
They take it away.
This social media is more.
I'm telling you.
More than a means to distract and confuse. This is a conscious revolution.
Revolution.
They take away with privacy. This social media is more. More than a means to distract and confuse.
All the talk, them a talk, there's no care for high and high. People are wise up and see right through their lies. People have heard enough is enough. The world is in need of change. Free up the innocent ones who they have been at Islam. Calling all the troops who defend human rights and honor. Tired of poverty, where's our sovereignty? We want it, yeah.
This is a conscious revolution.
Revolution.
Then take away with privacy.
All of it, yeah.
This social media is more.
It's more.
More than a means to distract and confuse. This is a conscious revolution.
Conscious revolution.
Then take away with privacy.
They take it away.
This social media is more.
It's more.
More than a means to distract and confuse.
Revolution that is coming. Did you know that? So be conscious. The revolution that is coming. Did you know that? So be conscious. Even when you giving back, it never change. We see just how they tell their lies and people make the bait. When even our perception allows us to stray. Jah forgive us all who've lost our way. Now we should pick up, as I would say. All my people live up in church way. Despise the vibes, they take your life, be wise, unite, and keep it tight. Despise the vibes, they take your life, be wise, unite, and keep it tight.
Revolution.
Then take away with privacy.
Tell me why.
This social media is more. More than a means to distract and confuse. This is a conscious revolution.
Conscious revolution.
They take away with privacy.
They take it away.
This social media is more.
It's more, yeah.
More than a means to distract and confuse.
Yeah, man. Morgan Heritage. We in the year 3000 and beyond, you know. Who to be conscious?
Yeah, the times are different now in this times that are being dominated by what they call social media. What is once mainstream seems to be on the sideline now, and what is once on the sideline has now become main. Social media is coming like mainstream now. And so the era that we're living in, information flies left, right and center, and much of the information that we get is not really true. But how do we define what information is correct and what is incorrect? How do we separate propaganda false from propaganda truth? How do we separate what Trump called fake news from reality? And black people, we've been under fake news for 2,000 years. From them giving the Bible, we're under fake news. Fake news. Everything written in that is fake. There's no justification, no evidence to back up, nothing in that. Fake news. We don't know the writers. It's ghost writers. But we hold on to that because it comes from a figure that is above. Well, the way the world is running now, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, there was a concept called political correctness. And political correctness is a high form of hypocrisy. High form of hypocrisy. They call it political correct. And political correct used to mean you do what you're expected to do according to some social norms. So, for example, somebody said to you, they give you a compliment, you're supposed to say thank you, and then they're supposed to answer back and say you're welcome. You know, like them establish some little rituals. So, in this time now that we're living under the Trump administration and the Trump era, over the last 2 years, something revolutionary has taken place as far as as far as it relates to correctness. Because this president has totally thrown out the window the whole philosophy behind political correctness. He has thrown away what is called hypocrisy that a lot of black people will be living very comfortable under. And in that hypocrisy, you're told things that don't go so. But you accept and believe it because it sounds like what should be said. Political correctness. What the Trump has brought to the world, Trump has come and has removed the cover. He has taken C, letter C of the word covert. And he has now defined everything as overt. So what was hypocritical is now daring and bearing. So the double talk of the political leaders of America, the double talk that make black people feel as though they are still being loved and cared for. Trump is not into the double talk. And it has made so many black people uncomfortable to know that the white people who are leading really don't like them and saying it. Because when it is not said, everybody feels okay, you know. And they smile with each other. That is the height of hypocrisy. What your experience is now is blatant, wherein the order of the things are now exactly what they always were. Nothing now is being hidden. Nothing is being put under a carpet. And the leadership of the world in America is letting the people feel that there's no shame in being racist. And it's something to celebrate. So the black people now in a shock. Because our father in heaven tell them, say, all of you are one. And he make all of us. But on the ground here, no, it's not working so. It's not working like that at all because we are running up into issues that are driven by power. Military power, economic power, technological power. We are involved in a war right now. The black population is in a war and don't even know. Because they have not told us. But if you use your own intelligence and exercise your intellect, you will realize that the United States and China is engaged. It may sound superfluous, it sound airy-fairy to say a trade war. And you think that because no guns not firing, no war not really fight. But this trade war that is going on is a serious, serious war. It's a war between the two largest economic powers and perhaps military too. And what we're seeing now out of this war are the repercussions of this war in terms of money and finances and currency and trade. And you know, technology is driving the world now. And there's a leadership in America who thinks that the world should be run by bullyism and by bluffing and blaring. But there are some nations who don't move to that. And so what we're seeing, as I'm saying from the first week, we're seeing a third world war. It's a global war based on technological and economic struggle. We know that the Chinese control certain elements that are desperately needed by the Western world. And so this war that is on will intensify. And in that intensification, cost of goods and all sorts of things go haywire. But critically, the Chinese are now looking to Africa. They have a technological company, Huawei, that the Americans are saying should not have any right to function in America. The Chinese are now moving that into Africa. Because Africa is the frontier. Africa has always been the frontier But the African people, the black people, have never recognized Africa as that home, that heaven, that paradise. Because religious training have encouraged black people to look for paradise off of the earth. And so where we live on the continent of 54 countries, it is being governed by two religious forces. It's divided by two religious forces and it's controlled by European forces. So there's a desire now for people of consciousness to look at the world and to recognize that there's a war in Syria, there's a proxy war in Venezuela, there's a proxy war in Yemen, there's a war unfolding in the Sudan, there is the Mexicans on the border struggling, there's the Koreans, there's the China. So the globe is under attention, and black people must be careful not to join sides and rather think about our own self-reliance situation. How do we develop our consciousness to the point where we can begin to see heaven as our continent, Africa? Can we move the meditation from up in the sky and bring it to the land? That may be a task, but it's not impossible, because little by little and more time as we go through, the generations are coming realizing that there is really nothing in the sky except bodies. They're going to recognize the International Space Station. They're going to recognize Mars. They're going to recognize the moon. They're going to recognize the solar system. And they're going to keep wondering and asking, how could we as a people believe that there is something out there called heaven for so long? And the nations that are in control of space are fighting over our continent, which is our heaven. It's things we have to unlearn, things we have to retrain our brain in our own thinking. But we are living in an era wherein much of what was covered under this political correctness is now being uncovered. The land of the home, land of the free and home of the brave, is no longer the land of the free for black people, for Muslims. It's more like the land of the brave, because you have to be brave now to live in America. A lot of people who live in America have to realize that if you're not what you call indigenous to the continent, you have a homeland somewhere. The government of the United States now is moving into looking into people's social media, social network, social media history. And for people who want to get into America now, you have to show the American government at least the last 5 years of your social media history, all your passwords, all of your sites. And this has a very important implication, because America now has a policy that they call extreme vetting within the immigration. So they can look now in your Facebook records and come up with a line and tell you, you said this and them don't like it. And on that basis now you cannot enter into their kingdom. So more people are going to be screened out of America, more black people, more people who the American government think cannot help America. So people from those other places must begin to think like Americans and begin to think of themselves first. A place like Jamaica, can we ever embrace the philosophy of Jamaica first? How can that be if the political leaders speak of them party first? And when the people pressure them for results, they turn to divine intervention. So it's all escapism. It's all escapism. And we have to begin as a people to realize that there is no solution from political leaders or religious leaders. Any solution that we want to our problems will have to come through consultation and reasoning amongst ourselves. Confidence is essential. And until we reach a point wherein we can make decisions without relying on others to validate it, then we are still slaves. So there's enough things we have to work through to arrive at a position wherein we can say that our consciousness have been liberated. So in order to free that self, in order to emancipate the self, we have to liberate the I. And the I is the essential power within. The self is a construction. Society helps to fabricate and create this thing that we call a self. But from inception, we have a power that comes from out of the depths of our consciousness. It's called the I. And we must constantly work to liberate the I from all false teachings, from all illusions. Deal with the reality of what is. A lot of our people spend time talking about how it should be and how it could be. But the reality is how it is. And that's what we have to focus on. The way it ought to be is ideal. The way it is the way it is.
The pressures of your life and it tough. No stay down, mama, time pick it up. No bother with the down, full style, strictly up, full vibes. I pick it up, and the bills, them, the rent and the mortgage due. Yeah. When me chalice, when your best friends are gone and it's only you. Yeah. Like up a split, turn up the music. Skanking sweet, everybody wanna feel like free. Forget your troubles and the rock with me. You know feel a reggae music sweet, yeah. Skanking sweet, everybody wanna feel like free. Forget your troubles and the rock with me. You know feel a reggae music sweet, yeah. Skanking sweet, for every pain there's a melody, yeah. For every trouble there's a harmony that brings everything together. So make we sing together. And who said life no order? And every man got this struggle. I beg you to help me, Lord, and let me overcome my struggles. Skanking sweet, yeah. Everybody wanna feel like free. Forget your troubles and rock with me. You know feel a reggae music sweet, yeah. Skanking sweet, everybody wanna feel like free. Forget your troubles and rock with me. You know feel a reggae music sweet, yeah. Skanking sweet, we skank it till the morning come. Until the day when my troubles are gone. Hallelujah, we're grooving in a jazz. We're grooving on my troubles away. Everybody wanna feel like forget your troubles and the rockin'. You know feel a reggae music sweet, yeah. Skank. Everybody wanna feel like real. Forget your troubles and the rock, yeah. You know feel a reggae music sweet, yeah. So skanking, everybody wanna feel like real. Forget your troubles and the rock with me.
Nah watch no face, beg no more pardon. Enough drugs, money they a cherry garden. Enough individual society applauding. You can ask anybody where them get them starting. But enough politician take a donation. So enough criminal will never see a station. Never see a cell, not even a courthouse. But every Sunday we see them take a boat out. North Coast Resort and car dealership. The construction company, them just don't legit. Usually wash the money, turn it round and hide it. When the kickback them come in, the government delighted. So police cancel operation. Cause no real bad man a go station. Now if you check the situation, a blood money running nation. Come take a look in a Jamaica. Injustice in the place now. If what you see no really face you, then you had the problem what we face to. Was about to buy a next 60 now. Maybe then I never have to be a prisoner. Maybe then I coulda not turn in my firearm. Police couldn't come remand, come in like me run an army. Was about to be a politician too. Maybe then I coulda make any decision. Look, maybe then I make 100 million disappear. Then me act like me no care. Watch you board me back in there. Because this sad reality. In a Jamaica say your status or your salary. Man, the road I carry one whole heap of felony. But them have a family, a boost up the economy. So, police cancel operation. Cause no real bad man a go station. Now if you check the situation, a blood money running nation. Come take a look in a Jamaica. Injustice in the place now. If what you see no really face you, then you what the it's out of many, but a one set of people feeling it. How that real society you agree to this. Things are revealed, the garbage, the machine spit. No smoke screen, a river and no conceal it. Now the system failing, the gap gets wider. A matter of time before a total divide ya. You cross the line, man, draw quick to remind you. If you build it on crime, then crime will have to find you. And that's how it's been always. That no frustrate you like it do to me. How much dead baby they over Jubilee? How much used the 10 when them running at the valley? Now them 16 hard fry head fricassee. So police cancel operation. Cause no real bad man a go station. Now if you check the situation, a blood money running nation. Come take a look in a Jamaica. Injustice in the place now. If what you see no really face you, then you had the problem what we face to.
Yeah, Jamaica is a rough place to be right now. Just like United States. But our roughness different because we have weather. And that it ease some of the distress. But then just trying to advance the reason within the context of our departed leader who's now going around the island, and with the impression is that going around the island now is a box with the departed leader in the box, making all of these stops, and people are supposed to be getting a chance to, I don't know, grieve. But Jamaica people love the dead body. Love for people in Jamaica love the dead body. A lot of people are so disappointed now because they're not seeing the dead body. That body died long time ago. That body could have been cremated and gone all kind of places already. And yet the Jamaican people think that the body is going around the island. And I have never seen anything like this. But them say them paying tribute. And I don't understand the rituals of the tribute, but it's long time this person dead and the body going around the island. They don't know Montego Bay, they are Kingston, they are Tivoli Garden, and yet nobody can see the body. So there are some people are saying there's no body in there. It's an empty box. But because we're not thinking people, we don't think out these things, we just follow fashion. And it's all about the leadership and the whole way how we have been trained to be like sheep. We follow, we don't think. We react. We don't act or preempt. We wait until the thing and then we respond. So people responding to that, and then the government now, in its wisdom, decide to tell the people that they want to legalize Obia. This coming from way out of left field now. And this is another one of the great kernels of distraction. Because that get everybody excited in Jamaica now, because this Obia thing now and the voodoo and the Christianity, the Christian church upset now. Because in their version of the world, their Lord God thing is the perfection. And they have always condemned Obia because it's evil, but they more condemn it because it's connected to black people. So the condemnation is not because it is evil, it's because it is a weapon that black people used to use to fight against Christian forces and to maintain our identity. In the same way the Haitians use voodoo to fight off that Christian identity too. In the same way black people have been using Obia for fight off Christian identity. Because that Christian identity is a prison. Once you accept that identity of the Christian, you're locked into a prison where you're a servant to the Lord forever. And you think, we had done slavery and would no longer serve any other lords. But now we have a Lord in the sky. He's no longer the backer Lord, but the Lord in the sky. So exploitation under capitalism, because capitalism cannot survive without Christianity. They walk hand in hand, Christianity and capitalism. And the political thing now that them go with that now is called democracy. So that's another Trinitarian force gathering Christianity, democracy, and capitalism. And at the center of that is the black labor force, where the black people are become units of labor to provide the surplus and the profits that the capitalists without a face can profit. If we don't know what's going on, we will remain in it. But exploitation is a regular feature within capitalism. And where there is capitalism, the mafia have Christianity, that the people can be passive and docile and be like lambs to the slaughter because their income is way below what they need. So it's borrowing and begging and scraping, yet they're giving what is left to the Lord. We have to get out of that evil trinity, Christianity, democracy, and the other one. We have to find a way to move towards self-reliance. Exploitation now comes in different forms. And we reject exploitation. We're rejecting capitalism. We're rejecting Christianity. We're rejecting democracy. None of those things work on behalf of the black population. We need to find our own way forward. Empty box going around the island. Empty box.
What about the race?
Yes, things running around. All around the island, we hear that there's this coffin, but we are told to believe that in the coffin is the body of the 5th Prime Minister. And we don't, people them can't see him, people them having doubts, but we are told to have faith in those who lead. There's another point I really want to touch upon before this program comes out, and we're down into the last 5 minutes or so. But identity is a very, very critical essence of a person's being, a person's identity. And I've been saying for a couple of weeks now that within the black individual, the one who is gifted with pigmentation and melanin and the pineal gland, that identity as a foundation grounded in a Trinitarian framework. And there is, at the point of inception, egg and sperm, there is 2 obvious identities that are established. One is the gender, one is your race. But the critical point now that's going to bring this identity to a functional level is when we talk about the third aspect of identity, which is the name. So the race, your gender, and your name. I'm suggesting that through one of them, out of my writing and reading, that forms the foundation of the black identity. But each individual has also a personality. And I'm saying the personality also functions at a Trinitarian level. And the personality has 3 components. It has the me, it has the I, and there's the self. And the connection now between identity and personality really rotates and revolves around the self, or your name. And I'm saying that this is so important in the psychology of I and I, that when we explore our individuals historically who have changed their names, we see the effect it has on their personality and their identity. And I'm going to go all the way into history and begin with Amenhotep IV. Amenhotep IV was really the husband of Nefertiti. And it is this couple that brought into the world the philosophy and ideology of one God, monotheism. But Amenhotep IV changed his name to Akhenaten. So there is something about name change. Malcolm Little transformed his whole being when he took on the name El Hajj Malik Shabazz, or Malcolm X. We have out of Trinidad and Tobago one Stokely Carmichael, who under his revolutionary change became Kwame Ture. There is something that touches the psychology when an individual undergoes a name change for psychological reasons, for cultural reasons. Muhammad Ali was born Cassius Marcellus Clay, and his revolution transformed his name to Muhammad Ali. And even locally, we have our poet who many people don't even know his official Roman name, but he's now known as Muta Baruka. Iman Blak is who Iman is. That is a liberating sound. Some people know Iman as Dandy. So the point I want to get at, there is something psychic. Some people may want to call it spiritual. When you get to the point of consciousness where the name that you have been given don't fit your calling or the task that you choose to carry out in this life. Even the Bible, Christian Bible, draw upon a name change. Them said there was a wicked man named Saul. And he became the foundation of the Christian faith. But he was no longer Saul, he was Paul. So we could think about the value, especially when you have a name that is connected to an enslaved situation. When you have the name of a slave owner, it may be important now that we begin to transform our psyche by releasing ourselves from those names and taking on a name that brings us into our culture and brings some stability to our personality and our identity. Metamorphosis.
I know enough of them woulda want we gone. I know them woulda want me gone. Sit down every day and I wish we harm. Too much time on the hands, you know. But why would a king ever fear a pawn? A king would never fear them. So what them a go do when them hear this one? Bang bang. Yes, no take tellings, want me no fi say this. Man, we see your farm and gone in and you lettuce. People mean your harm, you can't tell what a friend is. Grudge you for your paper, scorn you for your pennies. When you no see me gone, forget replenish. Back up in the morning, can't forget the message, no. Avocado, she feel for me, Senny. Yeah, man, banana is sweet, pushy belly. Jeez, I want make life sweet, so like a jelly. Climb feet, it hard, can't easy, so forget it. Sang the pan the radio, video pan the telly. Love in me heart, me a spread the catchy medi.
People, oh people, expectation. Will they love you? No guarantee. People, oh people, need salvation. Will they save you? No guarantee. Ain't no guarantee.
Now living in a Babylon ain't easy. Said living in a Babylon ain't easy, no way. Temptation on my right and evil on my left. I'll stand up and fight. Oh yeah now, Sadamasa in a positive way, Sadamasa in a positive way. I've got to pray to Jah to have some mercy, to keep me safe and guide me to travel on my way. Temptation is so strong, but I must fight it. I'll stand up and fight. Oh yeah now, Sadamasagana in a positive way, Sadamasagana in a positive way. In a positive way.
So remember, all highs is unlost. So remember, all highs is unlost. Let's move constructively. Be at the right place at the right time. Let's move constructively. Be at the right place at the right time. Let's move. There's some little girls and boys in the rain. Sha-la-la-la-la. There's some little girls and boys in the rain. Sha-la-la-la-la. Want some understanding?